Okay, here we are
Here we
with
go.
Sent to the Office, Coronavirus Edition. My mask is not staying on, but we are taking precautions out here, as you can see. This is season 2 of Adventures of Tremendous Fat Ass, and I believe it's episode 9. But it's been so long. I don't think this is gonna work, Dan. I don't know. Should we? You think we're far enough apart where we where we could just, go with it? I think we are.
Just don't.
How long?
Just say it. Don't spray it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I'll
That's
try
all
not.
I
Yeah, I
ask.
know,
over
I know,
here.
I know, I know. And
Sometimes you get going and it's like a spritzer.
I know, I know. Well, we got. Actually, we're not really taking any more precautions than we normally would because even without the coronavirus, Dan is usually, you usually want to kind of stay away from Dan. He's usually carrying something.
That's why I probably I don't want to joke about the coronavirus.
You don't
but
at all.
I think I probably have had it, and my body like bitch slapped it right back out.
Right? Have you been sick since it came to the U.S.?
I mean, that's so relative, you know.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
for some people, they may feel like, oh my gosh, I feel sick. Me, I'm like, oh.
Right. You just shrug that shit off. Yeah, there's a lot of people that probably have had it. Right now, according to the CDC, I think in the U.S., we've had about 460,000 confirmed cases and about 16,000 deaths, but we've only tested 1% of the population, 2%. We just don't have the test still yet. So it's highly possible. I've heard people talking that, hey, I was sick, really sick in February.
Why don't we have the tests?
That's a great question, Dan. We just don't have the tests. We just don't have them. We probably could have had them, but we just didn't. We don't got them.
Just don't have them now.
Yeah, yeah. But soon we'll be ready. Soon we will be ready to deal with this pandemic in the most advanced country in the world.
Yeah, I don't think everybody understands necessarily why it would be beneficial to know whether or not every single person has it at that moment
Right.
and if they've had it already.
Right.
If we knew that, we could knock this thing down.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the technology that's coming out, hopefully soon, man, there is a lot of little fuzz on the microphone here, is once they have developed an antibodies test, which, the rumblings are that they have one or they're close, that should be, able to be replicated a little bit more easily than the actual test to see if you're sick or not. It'll be able to tell if you've been sick, if you've had it already. And that'll be huge because right now, all these people that we all know that have said, man, I was really sick in February. I wonder if I had it. And it's possible they did or maybe they didn't.
Sarah was talking about that, and they're going to use the plasma of
Right.
someone who's
Right.
had it
Yep.
with the healthcare workers.
Yep. Yep. And so there's all kinds of, I hate to say this, but there's all kinds of cool science going on right now. And I'm not a science person, but these are kind of the moments where people step up and become awesome or show how awesome they are. They're also talking about how the vaccine for this is not your typical vaccine. Usually they take for a vaccine, and I hope there's going to be some science people out there, they're going to hear this and think I'm just a real dipshit. But usually vaccines are set up where they take a weakened cell, like for example, measles. They take a weakened measles cell
Yeah.
and inject it into you, and it has to be weakened so that your body can kind of collectively figure out how to attack this, and then it develops an immunity. But you can't do that with this virus. It's not. From what I'm hearing, they have
Can't
to
make it get weak.
say it again.
They can't make it get weak.
I don't know. I don't. But they have to come up with something that they've never done before. They have to take like a synthetic strain of it, or I'm not really sure how it's going to work. And I've read certain things, but it's like something brand new that they've never done, and it's so, But the word is it's going to be. Oh, we got a lawnmower coming. No, I was wondering, and then we've got the neighbor's dogs. I'm just waiting for them to be let loose at any moment and come to the fence and bark at us. But
Are you gonna beat them like you usually do?
I just usually get the hose on them.
Man, we got a fire going and
Yeah, we got a
everything.
fire. Yeah, it's a little smoky over here, but we're all right.
And you're gonna cook
Gonna
during the
cook some burgers
podcast.
here shortly when the wife gets here with some burgers. But so yeah, I've got the Corona Extra because I'm trying to really build up my immunity. This is a regular size can, by the way. My hands are getting smaller. I don't really know what. That was really stupid. I'm so dumb. Why did I do that? I don't even know why. But yeah, this is the virus is a big topic in our house. Yeah, our wives both work in the healthcare field. They're both out there every day, particularly working, with the majority of the time working with old people. And
remember what they took out of your lungs.
yeah, that's a concern. I mean, Marna is working every day in the healthcare field. Jory is with us, and she goes to work every day at Hy-Vee, and I'm in that
Same.
group.
I've got both of those.
I know you do.
Sarah
That's right. 'Cause
and Samantha works at Hy-Vee.
Samantha, I saw her at Hy-Vee a day or two ago. Yeah. So I'm in that high risk group, man. I got that lupus. If you'd have told me, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, hey, what's lupus? I'd have been like, heck if I know. I'd barely heard of it, but they've kind of figured out that that's what's going on with me, which is kind of a relief to know what it is, but it also puts me in that high risk group because my immune system is suppressed, and that's what caused all that fluid in my chest, and that's what gave me the pneumonia and all that. So if I get it, it'll be rough. So we're trying to, we're washing hands and make sure everything's okay. And I told you the plan, Dan. If I get it, just get a big pillow and
I'm gonna do
it's
that.
shadow
If you
time.
even cough,
Dan, no, I just have a runny nose, Dan.
Dang it!
Oh, so
You can't overstate the level of anxiety that a lot of people feel with this for different reasons. It's not just fear of the coronavirus. It could be that, or it might be that you need to go to work. You need to be doing your thing.
Right. Yeah, the anxiety is real for a lot of us. There are some people out there that just don't feel any anxiety at all, and that's wow. I don't know what that's like because I just feel anxiety, but and there's different reasons for the anxiety. I mean, I don't want anybody in my family to be sick. I don't want to get sick because I know that what that would cost to go to the hospital for even a day. And so those are real concerns for real people is, you have health insurance, but, if you have to go to the hospital for a week, holy shit.
I hadn't even thought of that. You just gave me more on my list. Thanks.
Well, I mean, that's real. I don't want a giant hospital bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes beyond, and I hate to say that, but it goes beyond just, life and death. It's also, from a financial standpoint, with so many people out uninsured or underinsured, you go to the hospital and all of a sudden you got a debt that you're never going to be able to pay.
Yeah, it should be an option. Like, hey,
Right.
not such a, I don't know. If it's between leaving my family and gobs of debt, I just want my options as a free American.
Well, I think we have that option, don't we? So, and then you have concerns about your extended family. My mom's down the road, just a half mile or so, and God help her if hopefully she would never get it. But she has a whole laundry list of health issues. Only has one lung working really, and so big concerns, and hopefully it seems like most people are doing the right thing. I mean, you always get those people. You see a lot of things on social media where, oh my God, look at all the people in the parking lot of Lowe's or Menards, or look at, and you'll find those things. I've seen those things, but otherwise, for the most part, I think people are trying to do what they're supposed to do for the most part. You don't think so?
I think the moment I heard that, making it through this relies on people actually self-isolating and social distancing, I knew we were in for a long haul.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be shorter and less inhibitive if 100% of the people, but you can't get
Bottom line is, it's people don't necessarily believe that is the problem.
Right. Right.
You know, we don't live in a country where everybody gets the same information.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
You know,
We
China.
have elected officials in this country who are saying, "Hey, just let's all go out and just get it, and we can build up our immunity to it." And I'm just like, you
Come on
know,
out, Marna.
oh, Marta's here. Yeah, we're gonna be cooking some burgers out here, Dan, while while we record this podcast.
Stand
so.
right over here. I put an extra squirt on. I'll get upwind.
Oh, I can.
Oh,
So nice.
yeah. Marta does enjoy.
Now I'll do a mental hug.
Okay.
Oh, Marta does enjoy Dan's cologne. I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, I gotta admit it. I don't know what it is, and he won't tell
And
me.
you never will.
I know.
Stand for putting extra on. So.
Yeah.
A
So,
little extra.
Marta, do you want to come over here and you don't want to get on camera? Why? I wonder why. That surprises me. So, we're gonna, yeah. So we got people. I think for the most, I just try to, I try to focus on that. It seems like 90% of the people are doing what they're supposed to do, and no matter what you do, you're gonna have those people that don't want to do what they're supposed to do. If we had 100% participation in the social distancing thing,
Oh.
obviously it would help.
Yeah.
And I heard things and read things that if you could go 3 weeks with just everybody staying home and not even leaving their house, this whole thing would be gone.
That's what India's doing, man, or trying to. It's not
Yeah,
going to work because
no.
there's too many homeless people.
Right. There are just shitting in the streets, and I'm sorry, that's not funny, but I'm just like, I don't know, I can't get into it, but or if we were a country where we could have military in the streets with guns,
Yeah.
making sure nobody leaves their house.
Exactly.
But we got freedom in
That's-
this country,
yep.
Danny.
Comes with a cost.
You can't. I have freedom and liberty, Dan. You can't tell me to stay in my house.
If we
It's a free
didn't
country.
have our freedom, we would be forced not to social distance and to get back out there to work and spend
Goddamn
some money.
right. Get out there and
I
do it.
mean, it's almost Easter.
That's right.
I thought we were going to have this done by Easter.
Yeah, so I don't know when we're going to open it back up and get back to normal. Are we going to go back to school? We're not going back this year. Nothing has been announced, but I can't see.
I don't know.
Do you know some secrets, Dan?
No, I don't know anything.
Dan is an employee of a school district in central Iowa.
You know, I think there's a lot of students that found out how much their teachers mean to them.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of teachers that found out how much their students mean to them.
Yeah.
There's been some positives.
Yeah, I think so too.
You
I think
know,
so too. There's been some parents who maybe realize, this whole teaching thing is like,
Shit.
which I mean,
How many are actually doing it?
yeah, not
Come
many.
on.
I'm not. I'm not. I had a talk with Beck and Quinn, and just said starting Monday, we're going to set aside a time in the afternoon from 1 to 3 where there's no computers on, no phones. You're going to be down at the table with your Chromebooks, and you're going to be working on your schoolwork. I'm not saying they have done stuff up until today, but
Yeah.
it's not like Marta and I have been sitting there. They're 15 and 17, so
Yeah, it's more just to keep the wheels turning. You
Right,
know, don't
right.
let anything get rusty.
right. And let's be honest, with the exception of some of their English, I couldn't help them with anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
most of it doesn't matter anyway.
well, right. Honestly, the most important stuff, in my opinion, is like the Spanish, the math, the stuff. If you don't learn whatever it is now, you can't start in the fall. And,
Right.
So, but I mean, everything.
I think the most important thing is them hearing the teachers asking them how they're doing right
Yeah,
now. How you
right.
doing?
I've had phone calls. I've
Yeah.
had lots of emails, and so
Yeah.
that's good. Quinn's got AP testing still scheduled in May, and they're still working out as if track is going to happen. But I've gotten, I think, 3 different schedules, modified schedules for track practice, and each one, and to their credit, the coaches, the tone of the emails are like, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
probably, but here's what would happen if we did. And I feel for those seniors, especially, the seniors that missed track, missed, all the spring sports, missed prom, graduation, so that's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's gonna, it's not gonna be, hopefully overly traumatic, but
It doesn't seem like a big deal as an adult until you really try to go back and put yourself, like, just picture, okay, you're
Right.
that age,
Right.
finding out you're not going to get your prom, or
right,
that is rough. But
right.
they'll get over it.
You know my prom experience, don't you?
No?
Yeah, I don't know if I've talked about it, but it was about 2 weeks till prom. I was a senior, and I'd only gone to one dance.
You notice how still I'm sitting?
You're doing great, Dan. What's going on?
Because I'm freaking out.
Did you
with my
take like
anxiety.
Valium?
Yeah,
Did you take Valium? Okay,
I'm,
good
like,
for you.
Medicated.
Whatever it is, clonazepam.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever they give you. Take this when you're feeling. Well, I'd only been to one dance prior to my senior prom, and 2 weeks before, there was a dance club in Central Iowa, and I don't know if you even remember it. You would have fit right in. It was a teenage dance club called Mike T's. And on the weekends,
Yeah, I went there.
oh my God, I
Yeah,
was
went
there every weekend.
Dude, I was there all the time.
I was there with
man.
my friend Kevin Malloy, who now lives in California. And let me tell you something. Kevin Malloy was a great dancer. And I was not a great dancer. But if you, either you need to be a great dancer or you need to have a friend
I
who's
was
a great
good
dancer. And the young lady, oh yeah, popping and locking, bro.
I can still do it, dude.
I know you can.
I could probably get back into my parachute pants, too.
You know what? That just brought up bad memories. Thanks
Oh,
for that.
I
You knew
forgot
that, didn't
about
you?
the parachute pants.
I
was
saved
kinda
up
like
in eighth
the,
grade.
That
Eighth
was
grade.
like why you couldn't play basketball.
Well, eighth grade.
Basketball.
Parachute
Break
pants.
dancer. Huh.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to break dance, Dan, but I wanted parachute pants, and I saved up the money. And come to find out, they only make parachute pants for a certain size of dude. And by eighth grade, they didn't make them in my size. Probably a smart idea on their part. They don't
Yeah.
need some 235-pound 14-year-old walking around in parachute pants. But
Trying to jump on his head.
God damn it, I wanted some so bad. I did. I wanted a moped too, and by the time I was old
too.
enough to drive one, I was over the weight limit.
My mom wouldn't let me.
Well, I wouldn't have afforded one anyway. But so anyway, so the prom, I went to Mike T's and I met a young lady there. Her name was Pam. I'm not going to say her last name, and she was actually from up the road in Bondurant, and she was a nice girl, and we were kind of called each other a little bit, and she asked me who I was going to my prom with, and I said, well, nobody. She said, well, oh my God, when's your prom? And I said, oh, like 2 weeks. And she said, well, I'll go to your prom with you. I already have a dress for my prom. And I'm like, okay, great, let's do it. I had talked to her maybe 5 minutes on the dance floor and then on the phone a couple of times. So I get a tux. I go to her house, pick her up. At that time, Lincoln High School, and my Lincoln, people that listen can correct me, but our prom was somewhere downtown. It might have been at the, I can't remember, but we couldn't hold it at Lincoln. We had just too many people. And so we get there, but beforehand, we're pre-gaming a little bit. And I wasn't a big drinker in high school, but I had a few. And I'm out on the dance floor, and I'm just getting after it. I'm doing my thing with my boys, and I look around, and Pam's gone. I'm like 20 minutes. We're there, and I'm like, has anybody seen my date? Blonde hair, blue dress. Nope, haven't seen her. So I went outside, and I asked the security guy by the door, did you see a young girl, the blue dress, blonde hair? Yeah, she got on the payphone, and then she got in a cab and got out of here. 20 minutes into my prom. Never saw her again.
Wow.
Never saw her again.
So you don't know what, like,
Nope. I still have a shit ton of prom pictures with me and this stranger that I didn't even know. And I probably,
So,
I don't
like,
know if
you
I
just-
offended her.
Well, what happened before you were dancing with your buddies?
Well, we were having beers, and maybe she was against drinking. I didn't know her, so I don't really know. I don't recall if she had a beer or not. Maybe me and my friends were a little bit too obnoxious for her. We had a couple of hotel rooms for after, and maybe that kind of scared her off. Even though I didn't have any plans in that regard, I really didn't. But yeah, so
Dang.
I still ended up having fun. Prom was still fun. I just didn't have a date for most of it. So yeah, so I guess in some ways I know what it's like for these seniors to not have a prom because I kind of did. I kind of did. I just spent a lot
Here's
of money
what
for
I
no
picture
reason.
after the security guard tells you, yeah, she blah, 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 got in the cab and left. All right, let's go. You come back.
I kind of did. I didn't like get bummed out over it. I just kind of went, oh, okay, all right, let's.
Yep.
And I'm sure that dude was laughing his ass off just at the thought of some chick just bolting out of there on some guy. But I had good buddies and we hung out and had a good time but I wasn't the most social guy. I was pretty shy and I
Bet.
just
Go tell that guy to turn his lawnmower off till we're done.
I can't even hear it.
Oh,
So it's not even
it's
picking
just
up. So.
barely.
But anyway, so yeah. So what have you been doing to keep up, or with all your time, or what have you been doing to? I know you always stay busy, Dan.
I do.
Yeah.
Man, I've been getting after it.
Okay.
What took a lot of time was I bought a new engine for my log splitter.
Okay.
It's a power horse log splitter with a power horse engine,
Okay.
212 cc's. I buy the 212 cc power horse engine, get it on my log splitter, which there were some problems. So I
Okay.
finally got it all hooked up.
Keep going.
The beam comes back and hits my exhaust.
What hit your exhaust?
The beam that comes back, and anyway, I've had to basically fabricate it to where it'll accommodate the beam. It was pretty sweet though.
Okay.
Remember when my camper burned up?
Yep.
One of the few things I saved was the old hitch, that big hitch that I had.
Right.
And so I used that metal
Okay.
to create a different bracket and extension so I could move it over. And
So
I
you had
shimmed
like a
out
big,
the tire.
you melted down this thing and like.
I cut it, yeah.
Okay.
I cut it, and then I drilled holes,
Huh?
and then I went and got Miguel's welder,
Okay.
and yeah, it turned out pretty cool.
Okay.
So that took a lot of time though, just because I was trying to, do it right.
Right.
But,
Anything else you've been doing? Sending out messages to your students
Yeah, I
to let them
called
know.
all my students.
Oh, you called them all.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, that was probably the best therapy I had,
Okay.
So, yeah, we're doing meetings and putting together some work, and
Okay.
it's tricky because right now it's voluntary.
I know much of that I would be doing.
You know, my harbor students.
I know them.
I mean,
Bless their hearts.
but yeah, just trying to stay in touch with people as much as I can. Try not to be a hermit in my garage, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always work.
Yeah. Well, it's if you're like you, I'm sure this idle time isn't always good. I myself am just fine.
You were like, okay, so social distancing, okay, so
Got it.
continue to do what I
Check.
do.
Just
yeah.
it hasn't really affected me a whole lot. So I just I read and I try to go for walks when I'm feeling good, and I pwn people on the internet. Show people change minds and do all that stuff, and it never works. But I keep trying, and
It'll never work because we have two separate news sources
I know.
that
I know.
create two different
I
realities.
know. It's unbelievable. One cool thing that I did, I ordered a book that I'd read when I was backstage in high school. Kind of a dumb title. It's called Football Dreams. Okay, well, kind of a dumb title, but it was actually It was a book that was probably more designed for a little older. It has some inappropriate stuff in it, but it was a great book. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I passed it around to like a dozen of my football buddies, and I was probably a sophomore. And they all read it. And over the years, I've probably read it 50 times. And I've had to buy several copies because I lose it. And in fact, a couple weeks ago, I was like, I was reminded of it. I'm like, I'm going to read that again. I found it on Amazon for $5. They don't make it anymore. And then, of course, Marta brought down a hardback copy that I had sitting by my bed for 10 years, and I didn't even know it. But so now I have 2 copies. But anyway, I Googled the writer, and I was like, I wonder if he wrote anything else. And it turns out he's a professor at Duke. And when I clicked on the Duke page, there was an email. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to email this guy. This book was important to me. I read it 50 times at least. And it was just a great book. So I just emailed him, and he emailed me back a couple
That's
hours
awesome.
later. And
A couple of hours later?
yeah, and he and I emailed back and forth a couple 3 times, and it was really cool. I mean, I honestly
Yeah.
didn't think he would ever respond. I just wanted to let him know how important the book was to me when I was
And
a
I'll
kid.
bet it was important to a lot of people. Probably
Yeah.
not like,
Right,
but there were probably multiple yous.
right,
But
right.
you doing that, I mean, I think they assume that people are reaching out or,
Yeah.
like,
right.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he wrote that in 1980, I think, 40 years ago, and he he said that he had to write the book so he could write other things because it was therapeutic for him, and it was sort of about him growing up. And man, I love that book, I really do. And it was so cool that he replied. His name's David Guy. And in fact, I might send him a link to this podcast if I don't know if he'll even open it up or listen. But that's what writing can do. Writing's important, and you don't know who it's going to affect. And
Yeah.
it had a big effect on me, that book did, because it made a lot of sense to me. And I gave the copy to Beck, and he'll probably never read it, even though I told him it'd be awesome if he'd read it, but he probably won't. I don't know.
Well, I think that's one of the things I'm going to be having my students, challenging my students to do. Someday your kid, this is what people are going to ask you about your kids when you're a
Right.
great grandpa or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And now is when you should be journaling every day.
Yeah.
Because that's therapeutic
Right.
as well.
Right.
And then they'll always have it.
Right. Yep.
So
I posted a video on Facebook by the band Disturbed, and they did a remake of The Sounds of Silence, which I think is I know it's a sacrilege, but I love their remake better than the original. Okay, and they made a new video of it where they shoot on the streets of Chicago, and it's bare, and they shoot the train, and there's nobody on it, and they shoot. And that's kind of the thing that, like, when Beck's older and he's our age and he's got kids, he's gonna say, we had a time, man, where, like, in March we just quit going to school,
yeah.
and they're gonna, what? And they won't believe it. And but these pictures are gonna be and the video is gonna be pretty stunning, of empty streets in the middle of the day. And but I don't know if we won't really know for a few years. You always need a little bit of perspective. You need to get away from something to know
Yeah.
really. I mean, this is big. Don't get me wrong. We all know it's big, but I don't think we'll know how big it is until we get away from it for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good point.
But so, yeah, man. Just been trying to read and on social media too much, on the computer too much. Need to get away. Found out today was National Siblings Day. I know it's a big day in our world.
Yeah.
You have a brother, I have a brother.
Yeah.
I didn't post any tribute to him or anything.
You didn't?
No, I don't know if he would see it because we're not Facebook friends.
You're not?
No, isn't that weird?
That is strange.
Yeah, well, yeah, he, did you do anything to honor Scott at
No,
all?
I didn't know it was National Siblings Day.
You didn't know until,
No.
okay.
But,
It's not too late. You can,
yeah, I'll send him a text. Should
Tell
I do
him,
it
hey,
right now?
yeah, if you
I'll
want
do
to.
it on the
So,
podcast. But,
you guys were close enough in age where I'm sure that you had,
oh, yeah, 2 years apart.
some battles growing up.
Not really.
No battles.
I
You know,
mean,
did
it
you ever
was
chase each other around the house with a butcher
chase
knife when
each
your parents weren't
other?
home?
No, there was only one chase going on, and it was usually me chasing him.
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
okay.
He never really, to his credit, we're just wired differently.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I apologize to him all the time for how terrible I was, but one of the worst things I ever did,
Yeah.
it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Okay.
And if I remember right, I got a pretty good ass beating for it.
Okay.
Well deserved.
Big
but
George take care of you?
If you can picture a bottle of off
Yeah.
bug spray, you spray it.
Yeah.
I turned it so that the thing that sprays
Yeah.
is going right into my finger.
Okay.
But I go like this, and I go, Scott, have you tried this stuff? It's not bad. Yeah.
Could that kill somebody?
I don't think so. It didn't.
Well, it didn't. He's fine, right?
But
He's
yeah.
totally fine. Oh, my
know.
God. Well, my older brother, John, and I were 2 years apart, and we had our battles. We had...
Oh, yeah. You guys had the
Yeah, I
Thunderdome
think I talked about
going
the Easter egg battle already. That was an episode or two ago. and-
right in the face,
right,
right?
right in between the eyes. Oh, Easter's in a couple days. So yeah, that was Easter.
Did you tell that story?
36 years ago. My brother threw a hard-boiled egg at me and hit me right between the eyes from me to you, Dan. Me to you. Hard as he could, with the shell on, and then proceeded. I cannot believe, Beck, have I told this story on the podcast?
He doesn't listen.
Beck, come on. So, and I'm pretty sure that I
Yeah, I
did.
think
My
you
friend
did.
Brian was there, and
Yeah.
but yeah. So John and I went back and forth off to make sure if I've told her or not. I don't want to tell it again, but John and I battled, and it was a good battle because for a long time, up until I was probably 10 or 11, he's older. He was older, so he could whip me, and then right around 11ish or 12, I could whip him. And then that was really hard for him, getting his ass beat by his younger brother. So we had our ties back and forth, and John and I were pretty close. Josh and I were pretty close, or close kind of growing up, but he was 5 years younger. And after my mom and Josh's dad split up, Josh went to live with him a little bit more, and so we were kind of. But I didn't honor Josh on National Siblings Day. The last time I talked to Josh was a few years ago when he called me to let me know. Actually, he told my mother that he had been talking to our dead brother on the phone every week and had been for, a year. Okay, so you're my mom, and you get this, who my mother, love my mom, bless her heart. Still, obviously brokenhearted over the death of my older brother. And then she gets this text I think it was a text from Josh saying, John's still alive. And in fact, I talk to him every week. And oh, by the way, he doesn't want to talk to you, and he doesn't want to talk to Joel. He only wants to talk to me. Well, that was curious. So at the peak, so I began texting Josh back and forth, and apparently, John had gotten a job in California using Josh's Social Security number. And that's how Josh became aware that John was still alive, because he got a call from a restaurant in California about some W-2 or some financial thing. And Josh was like, I've never lived in California. So he got the phone number from this restaurant manager, allegedly.
And your brother died in Mexico.
John died in Mexico. And to my knowledge,
do you
never
think
lived in
someone
California.
actually took his ID to go to America and used it, and that's how it happened?
No, John's ID? No.
Yeah,
He, according to Josh, John used Josh's ID to work because John was officially, dead. So according to Josh, he took Josh's Social Security number, got a job, and that's how he'd been working for all these years. And it kind of reminds me that when John was 17, John got a fake ID in the name of somebody who had recently passed away and created another identity. And I don't know if I've ever talked about that, but so it kind of reminded me of that because when John was like 17, John was a very smart guy, and he didn't always use his powers for good. Okay, and he, like a lot of 17-year-olds, wanted a fake ID. So he scoured the obituaries for a few weeks, found a 21-year-old who had recently passed away, and went to the courthouse and he bought his birth certificate, which at the time you could do.
Oh, wow.
You just have to say, yeah, I need a copy of my birth certificate. Here's $10. So he got the birth certificate of this guy who had passed away. And then he went to the library or to the video rental store and said, yeah, I want a rental card. Do you have any ID? Yeah, I have my birth certificate. They gave him a rental card. Then he went to the library and got a library card. And then he went back to the courthouse and he's like, I need a copy of my social security number or my social security card. Do you have any ID? Well, all I have is my birth certificate and my library card. And is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. So then he, took $100 and he went to the bank and he got a checking account in this guy's name. And, sir, yeah, in order to open a checking account, do you have any ID? And he said, well, yeah, I've got my, social security card, my birth certificate and all that. Went to the DOT and got a state-issued ID card, not a driver's license. And then he had them send checks to an empty house near Lincoln High School. And every day for, a week or so, he'd walk by that house and open the mailbox. And one day those checks were there, and John started writing checks.
Oh, I was like, checks from who?
Yeah. So he started with the objective of just getting an ID so he could buy booze. And then he took it even further.
Yeah.
And he was probably the first documented case of identity theft
Wow.
back in like about 1984. So maybe that's where Josh got the idea. And so Josh and I were texting back and forth. Yeah, I talk to John every week. Really, can I have his number? Nope. John told me specifically not to give it to you and not to give it to Mom. He doesn't want to talk to either of you, which was the biggest sign of his bullshit because John and I were always close. And, oh, you a little cold, are you?
Warm it up.
John and I were always close, and John and Josh were not close. And so it's just, I knew it was bullshit, but we carried on for a few weeks, and it kind of gives you a window into the minds of somebody that's pretty disturbed,
Yeah.
And so the question I had was, is Josh really imagining that he's talking to our dead brother on the phone?
Yeah.
Or
none of these options are good.
None of them are good. So,
Or
yeah.
he's manipulating.
Or he's manipulating and trying to get attention, or maybe just trying to hurt our mother because, he's just an angry guy. But so I finally told him that, I'm pretty concerned about this, Josh. I really, if John is still alive, I'd obviously love to know it. So I took your social security number and I called the IRS, and we're going to get to the bottom where John really is, if he's still using your social. Oh, no, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, dude, I want to find him, I mean, obviously, I want to see my brother. And, but calling the IRS was the trigger, and then he didn't contact me anymore, and I haven't talked to him in years, and I hope he's getting some help, Dan, because he's out there, buddy.
Yeah.
He's,
That's too bad.
yeah. So I don't know if I'll be honoring him on National Sibling Day. Not that he would ever know it. So, whatever. But what are you going to do?
Drink that Corona.
Drink that Corona Extra. It's Corona Extra.
Extra.
Yep. So, anyway, I'm glad to get this, in the can, so to speak, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can record some more as long as we do it where you're coming in through the back gate.
We got a crosswind right here.
Yeah.
We got a crosswind.
Come in through the back gate.
That's why I
Don't
had to
touch
go over
anything.
there for
Yep.
Marna to smell me.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
Right. So what's your view? Are you pretty sure we're not going back to school? Your opinion?
My opinion, I'm pretty sure we're not going to go back.
Okay. Give me your what's your opinion of when we will? I don't even know what
You
life.
know way more than I do about this stuff.
Well, I tend to obsess over things. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're aware of that.
But with that, you research stuff. Like I mean, I don't know.
I think my anxiety works a little bit different. I feel better knowing things. I don't like the unknown. I think it makes my anxiety worse.
Yeah, it probably does.
But then sometimes knowing too much is not good either. So, but yeah, I try to research things the best I can, and I'm not saying I know everything, but I follow it every single day and read about it and listen to podcasts and
Yeah.
So you're about to
just-
free. How erect are your nipples right now, Dan? Can we talk about
I
that?
don't. I've lost that weight, and since then I can't,
can't stay warm.
handle the cold like I used to. It's been an issue
Okay.
this last deer hunting season.
Really? All right.
So
Well, I feel fine.
I got a heated coat now, though.
I want to get one of those.
BA.
Yeah.
They don't get quite as warm as you'd like.
Okay.
But if you're out there and it's cold and you're like, I don't know if this thing's working very good, shut it off.
Then you feel it.
Yeah, then you're like, oh yeah, it was working.
I want to get one for Marta, so when we go to those late season football games, she's, warm, as she would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So but we may not ever play football again. So who knows? I'm
we
just
will.
playing. So anyway, all right, man. So what do you
Yeah.
think? We were ready to
Let's call it good, man.
call it good. I'm gonna
cold.
make some burgers over the fire over
Yeah,
here.
I thought you were gonna cook while we were doing
Yeah, I
this. That
thought
would've
so
been
too.
tricky.
But
And then we all would have critiqued your grilling skills.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
I know they're awesome, but still, that's
You know-
you might as well have sex in front of everybody. I mean, geez,
I don't want
that's-
everybody to see that.
I'm just kidding.
All right, Dan.
All right, you
Don't
know
touch
what?
me.
I'm not
Don't
gonna
you dare touch me.
I'm gonna pick up my broken keychain.
You broke that. And Dan, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself
All
too.
right, man.
All right.
See ya.